Welcome to another Pike and Shot battle. In this match against Ohweeton, I have Poles 1576 against his German States 1590. So the German States Army is a much more heavy force, so big blocks of pike and shot, heavily armored Reiter cavalry, lots of them armored, gendarmes with lances, up to 4 batteries of artillery. It's a formidable force, but we have some nice terrain to work with for a more flexible Polish army, and I'm going for the full-on swarm approach. So, getting all the cheap cavalry I can, really. 3 out of 4 of these hussars, Cossacks, so bow swordsmen. They're garbage, and they really can't fight non-light cavalry, but there's so many of them, they're so cheap. Same with these hussars, Cossacks with carbine and pistol. We have the superior sort. These are armored, and so they're okay. They don't have an impact POA, but if they survive into melee, they do fine. I only got 1 additional Wigan Hussar. I mean, they're amazing, but 76 points. I'd rather just get more. For lights, I got the full complement, so 4 Hussars Cossacks and 6 Hussars Cossacks Tatters, light horse, bows, swordsmen. 3 early dragoons with arquebus. So basically, we're going to try to swarm around with light cavalry, pick at his cavalry, try to raid his guns, and just generally be really, really annoying. I did bring some artillery, but only light guns to accompany the advance to maybe make him move. I maxed out my Haiduks. These are arquebus swordsmen. They're vulnerable to cavalry, but hopefully the sheer number of cavalry we have will make that not a problem. They fight very effectively in all manner of terrain. We also brought the max complement of pike and shot, which is 2 units for the Polish army. Luckily, we spawned down here as match host. The forest should be very friendly for our Haiduks, and our dragoons can maybe try to seize this little rocky outcrop. So, if the battle's in the open, our cavalry should shine. If he pushes forward, well, we have hills to hide on. But I suspect the battle's going to be in the open while we try to push flanks on both ends with light cavalry and dragoons. Alright, so here's our deployment. We have Haiduks ready to move into this forest, or maybe try to seize this with the assistance of our dragoons. 5 light cavalry to try to slip through this forest and around into the wings. We have some of our cheap cavalry on this wing to assist with fire support, and they can hide in terrain from heavier horse if they need to. Light guns, pike and shot. Most of our hussars in reserve. A smattering of Haiduks in shooting cavalry with light guns and pike and shot in support, again to try to break up those heavier formations. We are ready to adjust everything as needed. I really don't know if he's going to go heavier on cavalry or infantry, so we can change this up pretty easily given how much cavalry we have. And again, mostly cheaper cavalry on the swing to just stretch out the line, light horse to harass and get into this open flank. And I might switch 1 more over here. So really how we proceed depends on whether Ohweeton takes a more heavy cavalry approach or infantry approach, and of course just how many batteries of artillery he brings to the field. Alright, let's see that force comp and deployment. What do we got? Lots of infantry, including the tercios, who are immune to both the flank and rear attacks, so we'll just have to shoot them somehow. Not very much cavalry. Cuirassiers could be a problem. Their impact would be formidable against everything but winged hussars. Well, let's send the scouts forward. These detached musketeers. Okay. Wasn't sure if musket was available yet. Okay. Artillery, just 1 battery. That's good news for me. Let's push forward. Haiduks into the rough. They might be pushing to prevent a flank, but we're gonna try anyway. And with 4 cavalry units there, I might want to shift 1 more winged hussar to the flank, occupy high ground with one of our few pike and shot units. Hussars and Cossacks are similar to the arquebusiers, but the arquebusiers at least have some armor, and these large units will gain combat strength modifier advantage as melees go on. So we'll see what he has hiding back here. If it's not much, then we might be able to attempt to try to leverage an advantage from this wing while holding on in the front. And what I might want to do then is shift a unit of Heidex over to either this built-up area or this rough ground, or even this forest, depending on how much time I have to maneuver. Next turn. Okay, we still don't fully understand what we're going to be facing here. Let's see if we can get a view. Not much of a view yet. Maybe that's it. Okay, we should be able to overcome that. But let's take time for the Heidex to arrive. Still well out of range. Let's maybe, it's a bit of a long journey, but bring these winged hussars to try to get over to this flank, keeping 2 in the center to counter the crosshairs. Good. Do I want infantry here is the question. Might be useful, but this line is looking dangerously thin, so maybe we just stick them there. So I think for now we endure the cannonade and hopefully not too many disruptions while we get into position to seize this flank and get into this open country here and maybe inflict enough damage or threaten to inflict enough damage that he feels compelled to advance with his infantry. So at least we'll be uphill and maybe somehow find a way behind. That will help very much against the tercios, but it should help against the other units. Next turn. Yeah, we're just going to have to sit here and take that. Maybe I might shuffle the Heidex forward and cover the cavalry. Okay, he is seeing my attempt to push the flank. We still might be able to force a cavalry engagement. Right, well, let's get up there and seize the high ground. Your absorb volley, thank you. Good. Disruption. Excellent. Alright, what do we have here? 3 units of arquebusiers. We should be able to take that down with this. The question is, will you start diverting cuirassiers over to the wing as well? Because of that possibility, we will shift wing and hussars over. Let's cover the cavalry for the moment. And prepare for a cavalry skirmish here. Maybe we can try to get 1 unit behind at least. These are heavy lancers, so heavy lancers actually counter impact mounted. So we'll need to find a way to disrupt them. Awkward. Okay, we'll have to concentrate missile fire on these light gendarmes. Maybe even consider getting these light guns over to intervene. Next turn. Infantry advance. Okay. I wonder if he's advancing or just contracting into a defensive U-shaped formation. Well, either way, we can fall back with U and U, and then next turn U into the rough, and U onto the slope. Try to work your way behind. And start being annoying as hell. Good. Need to be careful with this sort of thing. Okay. Then what? Could go for a break, but then we might get caught out. So we'll just go for some harassing fire instead. I'd like to seize that village if I can. Okay. So we'll keep putting pressure on this side. Falling back here is no thank you. And putting pressure on this side as well. Next turn. Okay, pressing forward, we'll have to keep withdrawing into the rough. Okay, well, let's keep stretching out. Good. Oh, I'm tempted. Hold off on that for the moment. Prepare to station yourself here. Go for... Is it worth it? No, not yet. You, get over there. You, draw. What do we use these hussars for? Maybe go for this gap? Not entirely sure, to be honest. Okay. Who's dangerous? Well, I suppose first we can fall back out of range of his lights. Held firm, impressive. Okay. Come on. What's something? Now we're in charge range because these are both late gendarmes, so they can move further. Here's what we do. Threaten flanks if they charge. Okay, we need to find a way to threaten contact and yet at the same time avoid contact. Like so. Let's see. Just be all like, nope. 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 We want to continue to subject these to artillery and archery and try to disrupt before contact. Yeah, I don't want to try to tank melees against superior cavalry unless I absolutely have to. Bow cavalry, yeah. If I move here, I'd be able to pop into the built-up area. But then we might, die. So let's not. Okay, so let's see, does this still work? Yeah. That's kind of hard to see. That's the overall situation. Next turn. Uh-oh. Hopefully they don't double drop. That would be extremely unfortunate. Okay, they don't. That's good. We need to get these hussars out of here, though. Well, let's give these a shove. That gets us out of there. Try to break these with the non-lights so we can spare both units of lights. I want to arc you around. I also want to be ready to maybe flank these if they pursue that way. Okay. Then what? Could go on a commando rush for the guns, but honestly I'm more worried about the cavalry. Could try for a rear charge to gum this up. Is that worth it? Nah. Okay, next, can we hit them? We can. Here we fire, threaten a flank if they charge. These Heidex are just going to have to take it. Alright, who do we try to drop with the extra cohesion check? Gendarmes. Good. Then turn these guns, start putting on some pressure. Winged hussars can start pushing forward. Okay. Our lights might just get shoved off, unfortunately. Well, let's try to just inflict some casualties, and if they do shove us off with a charge, well, we'll be back later then. Do I occupy the rough? Probably worth doing at this point. Good. And inch forward to try to see what's in there or occupy it if it's empty. And you try to support this action. Okay, then what? Occupy the high ground? Not much these hussars can do. Maybe start trying to get around then. Apply more pressure to this corner. Haidaks are just going to have to stand, which means the armored Cossacks are going to have to gum up the infantry. If we move here, we'll be disordered. I think we just keep the threat going. Alright, well, we will lose a unit next turn, so too bad. But this disrupt means that we'll probably be able to tank the charge. Probably. Next turn. Didn't break, surprisingly. Just bounce it. Yep. Oh, that is undesirable. I don't know what we can possibly do about it. If they fall back, we'll just apply more pressure. Break and flee. Fade off map, could be worse. Okay. Well, next up, where are you going? That way. And turn. Good. A frag. Break them. They evade. And catch. Good. Disruption. Good. Follow it up. Do we charge or do we try to shoot first? Shoot first. And go for the charge. They disrupt on contact because impact mounted. So their armor does help them in the melee, so the win's still only 37%. Let's shoot, aiming for a disruption. No. Then absorb, volley. Could be worse. Get the Haidaks up. Work on the pike and shot. Okay. Now we charge downhill before we get shot at. Excellent. We did have a small advantage of Kyle 60 as opposed to Kyle 50, reflecting the percent of pikemen, but a double drop was lucky. Fall back and break. That's fine. You're going to have to take a volley and hopefully not frag. Then charge downhill. In the meantime, let's try to... Do I move up? Work on the surround. And Try to put some hurt on them. Yeah. Good. Good. Eventually he will charge, and I'll get driven off map, but hopefully I'll just come back soon after. Let's get these hussars forward. No one's home, and we can occupy this built-up area. Okay, and dragoons, sure, contribute. Now I could move out to join the fun, but if they push forward, it could get awkward. So keeping these two in reserve to threaten something here should remain useful. Next up. Dare I do anything here? I want to stay on the rough. By staying on the rough, I'm unable to do anything about these shooting at my armored Cossacks. Question is, do I really care about that? Maybe I do. Threaten the crossers with the charge by the hussars. Who's left? You. Join the cavalry engagement if you can. If you get shot at, pin a unit and bring up the Hydux. Alright, here we're just going to have to take some punishment. That pins one unit down. Contribute. Then what? They hold firm. Do I move up to shoot with this unit or hold it back? I think hold it back, so let's see if they charge and fall back. Then they can charge anyway, huh? I see. Well, I'll just have to accept the risk at this point. Okay, decent start, but it's going to be difficult to do much against this massive heavy foot, especially the tercios. I'm really happy about that one frag. Next turn. Hopefully we don't disrupt. We need a frag on there. Have to pull them out. That's what I was afraid of. I'm gonna get slaughtered here. Bounce off. Good. And we bounce off. We evade off map. I like that very much. Thank you. Thank you. And a frag. Excellent. Disruption. We needed that. good. Yeah, it's gonna be a massacre. Probably get fragged here as well. Yep. Break, but no disrupt. Okay. Well, work on these guns. Give them a shove. Doesn't matter if we catch them or not, we just need to move the right way. Okay. Break the gendarmes. Good. And turn about. Right. Now... Trying to decide if I want to stay here or move. I think we keep the cavalry in place. Get out of the way. Fire. Okay. This is getting very dangerous. Could just get out of there. I think that's the right call. Yeah, get out. There's no sense letting our cavalry get charged by crosshairs if we don't have to. Especially when we have this option available still. Okay. Then what? Good charge. But I feel like I'd rather go for this sure thing. Put the pressure on. Now we could charge here to force him to stay in place and then get the rear attack. Or we could just pour on the lead. Start setting up rear attack. Get out. Threaten the cavalry. And for now, support that. Okay, now we just keep threatening to intervene here. You get out and go rally. Yep, that's fine. And it's fine because we can do this. Great. Then what? Crosshairs are a problem still. Maybe we can attempt disruption. Maybe not. Hide in the rough ground, so if they charge us, we have swordsman POA. Disappointing. Disappointing. Charge here would be unfortunate, but I also don't want... Well... can't beat these guys. They have pistol melee, we have swordsmen, so we're down 100, and then they have armor as well. What we can do maybe is hover just out of reach, but still threaten to intervene. Okay, you stay there. Right. Gonna break here. Hopefully that doesn't shatter this unit as well. Well, done what we can do. Next turn. Good. Ah, they held out. This is fine, actually. They get their armor, we get swordsmen. It's a waste of points. This is unfortunate. We need that break, and we need it to do spectacular things, or else we're in trouble. Good. Let's pour in some more fire. Held firm again, that is extremely unfortunate. Ooh, despite the advantage of the rough, we still just couldn't take it. Break, but the Heidex hold firm. So, could be worse. Passed a cohesion check there. Okay. Do we charge? Do we charge with this cavalry? Everybody remains firm. Too bad. Well, then what do we do? Contribute over here. And fire. Charge. Good. We'll start pushing you over towards the center as well. We could work on a disruption by fire, or we could attempt to rear charge and force disruption that way. Possibilities. Well, while we consider that, yeah, shove them along. We want to go that way anyway. Do I want the guns? Screw the guns. Take out that cavalry. Good. Go for a frag. Nope. Well, it's worth a shot. If we block that tile, then we can... They still held firm. That's unfortunate. Okay. Then next up, rear charge the crosshairs. At least prevent a charge for a turn. And push around. They have nowhere to run, so unfortunately we're going to get flanked no matter what. However, what we can do is threaten to flank the flankers. Like so. And let's keep our options open here. Okay. Now this whole situation. Oh, let's work on them with some firepower. Zone them in. Okay, the impact is still bad, but we do have the hill. And we can rear charge with the light cavalry at least. $70 casualties. No cohesion drop. You're just gonna have to sit there and take it. Or we could charge, bounce out of range. It's actually not a bad idea at this point, given this whole situation. They move up to pursue, we advance with the Hajdux. You can also advance to offer supporting fire. Yeah, one more turn and these Hajdux can be in action. And what do we do with you? Do we send you off to finally take care of these damn guns? Do I even care about the guns? Don't think I care that much about the guns. I think I have bigger problems at the moment. These two can stay put on their mountain. Considering actually withdrawing a bit, so in these turn. Yeah. Okay, well this is really too bad. Passing all those cohesion checks while fragged. But we still might get some good stuff out of this. We'll see, it's kind of a wash, but the center is going decently. We can't flank these tercios, but it's still inflicting pretty tremendous casualties all in all. Next turn. We will hopefully hold firm and bounce off of that. Yeah, it's about time we disrupted there, no surprise. Good, we score a break. Bounce off at least. Oh no. Oh, they held firm, that's terrible. That's so bad. Just do it. That was just aggravating. Okay, well, why don't we go for impact? They hold firm. Too bad. Need to try to disrupt this unit. Because if they don't disrupt, they're going to just trash. Hussars and Cossacks, good. Then what? They hold firm. Okay. Can veer off a bit and engage. We're disordered, but we're just gonna have to be okay with that. Why don't we just charge these guys, pursue them, and if we're lucky, pursue into the rear of this later tercio. That's annoying. Shove them off. They're in the way. We need them. Oh. Well, you know, that's not what I was trying to do, but yeah, I guess that works. Go with that instead. You can help with that engagement. Hajdux can push forward. They can charge in with their swords now that these guys are disrupted rather. Okay, more cavalry on the way. Take out those guns. I wonder if I move here, does that mean I could get a rear charge? Yes, it does. Interesting. Well, why don't we first inflict some casualties with fire. There's the frag. Then we get the break, disrupting, charging, fragging, and routing. Good. Show them some hospitality. Who's left? Where to go? Where would you even be useful? Could join in here, but it just seems unnecessary. Why don't we push towards the cavalry engagement? You can stand for the moment. You are doomed. Well, this is looking much better. And we got the well done. Okay, I think this is a tough match for the German cavalry. The Crosshaires and the Heavy Lancers are both very hard-hitting melee cavalry types, but the Crosshaires are down on impact against the Winged Hussars. The Gendarmes he brought to the field actually would have been up 100 POA on impact, although down 100 if the Hussars remained steady, pistols versus swords for the melee. But the real problem was that he couldn't really bring those units to bear in their own time due to the mass light cavalry harassment, which these arquebusiers weren't really enough to fend off. These are pretty mediocre units, honestly, but they exist because armies fielded them for tasks other than pitched battle, and then they just kind of threw them in there when there was a fight. So Huitin's hope was always going to be to try to break through the center while delaying my wings. But unfortunately, not only did I have this mild slope to put my early pike and shot on, I had a rough ground for the Hajdux. So if any of his infantry charged in, it would unlock the 100 swordsman POA that the Heidex have that they would be otherwise denied in open terrain because his men would be disordered charging in. At least that is the case with the early Pike and Shot and Tercio. The later Tercio, I think, would have been only slightly disordered and thus not unlocked my swordsman POA. So we would have just gained a slight boost for being steady versus slightly disordered. So this is good ground for the Heidex. They could be overcome eventually, but it would be difficult. It would be because of the combat strength modifier, as our unit took casualties and shrank, and these large size units, didn't for the purposes of combat strength modifier. But it would be, 60 POA in the case of these early Pike and Shot, or 50 for the early Tercio versus 100 for swordsmen. Their armor also would not come into play because the Heidex are fully armed with firearms, which cancel out armor POAs entirely, even in melee. So it was going to be a rush, and I think the initial defensive stance really hurt him. I think it was actually a situation where what may have seemed like foolish aggression would have been the way to go. Because once I was set up nicely on these wings, his cavalry wings were going to get picked to death. So I think, although a head-on assault would have been risky, it actually would have minimized some of the dangers of my extended cavalry wings. That's just theory, though, and of course there's no mirror matches in Pike and Shot, so who can say for sure what really would have happened? So, a good game to Eaton, as always. And till next time.